wonderful right now. So
Okay.
no problem. Here we go.
Yeah, I just kind of found me a little spot here and went ahead and figured we just do it from here. So, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and start out with some questions on suffocation, and then move into a little bit of questions with you. Is that cool?
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
All right, let's do this.
Except for my afro.
Okay, and once again, thank you for doing this. Thank you so much for this opportunity, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so suffocation started back in 1988 in Center Reach. That's over by Long Island, right? New York?
It's on Long Island, New York, yeah. And I mean, it's literally like 15 minutes away from where I live right now. So
yeah,
we're here, right smack dab in the middle of the island.
Yeah, I actually Googled it, Google Mapped it, and I was like, hey, it's right around the corner. So
where are you? Yeah. Where are you at, though?
Yeah. So when back with the re-cremated in 1990, that was all your work, right? Because that's where
well, I mean, you know, of course, Doug Cerrito and me and Josh, we always collaborated on making songs together. So, and that really early re-cremated demo, it was kind of a combination of all of us, for real, you know?
Yeah.
Is where, you know, writing duties for me happened more so. I mean, I've always been writing in the band, but more later did it, more of that responsibility come on to me, you know, as the lineups changed and stuff. So.
Right. Okay.
It's really
right on. And then okay, when Suffocation first came out, now I asked this because a lot of bands are like, we just want to jam, you know? But when y'all first came out, was it one of those that y'all, could y'all even imagine the success, the monsters y'all are today?
I mean, honestly, no, none of us ever expected any of that. Like, you know, when we all met in school, you know, they had the Battle of the Bands, but we were also from different school districts. So it was like we had the opportunity to play in one school district and then another, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was kind of interesting it being that way. But in the long run, yeah, I mean, the mode was, it was like, okay, we play instruments, let's jam, we can do something cool. And I mean, at that point in time, you know, before Suffocation, let's say, like me personally, you know, I was just trying to study hard rock guitar because I had a guitar and I was like, I could hear it in there, as opposed to like disco and dance music and all the rest of that were like keyboards and stuff. and you know, having a guitar kind of just gave me that motivation. So while we were in school, you know, we all tried to hang out and went to classes and met friends that were all playing instruments, you know, and band and stuff like that. And it just so happened that I ended up meeting these other guys, you know, Frank Mullen, Mike Smith, Doug Cerrito, all those guys, through Frank Mullen, because Frank had went from one school district to my school district.
Oh, okay.
At that point, we had met, and then from there, we went and met there, and then, you know, it was just a big clusterfuck from that point on. But it was really cool, you know, really cool being a little school kid and still having your friends around you and still being able to do the stuff that you were doing when you were a kid.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So now that you bring up Frank, I know that back in 2018, we went down to the Gas Monkey in Dallas, and it was on his tour for his you know, farewell tour.
Yeah.
Now
we got very drunk on that tour.
The what?
We got very drunk on that tour.
Did you?
I have to let you know this. I mean, bottles and bottles and bottles of booze were going to.
I bet. Well, check this out. That is originally where I got a chance, and I know it's a quick thing. And I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Is that Terrance at the you know, at the bar ordering food?" And they're like, "Yes."
Yeah.
This is my once in a lifetime opportunity. Let me go over there. And I went, grabbed a quick picture with you, and took off. You know. And I was thinking,
I mean, that's really cool, and I actually pretty much remember the moment. But you know, don't think that we're not coming back and be around and you can't come and say hello when I'm there. You know, I don't try to have that kind of persona, I don't think. And you know, I get to take my aggressions out on the stage when I want to. So the rest of the time I can just be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. So here with Suffocation recently, I know that I believe it was the vocalist for Pyrexia you brought on for a little bit.
No, well, I mean, we had quite a different fill-in vocalist, but it just kind of depended on the tour. But at this point in time, now we have Ricky Myers, who was the drummer of Disgorge from California. And, you know, we had met him well in the early 90s, doing some tours. And I mean, he was playing drums for his band. And we all became friends and everything. So we, especially Derek being from California, our bass player, who's been with us for forever now, since 2004, 2003, 2004. You know, we were all friends. So when Frank decided he was going to kind of retire, you know, we had talked to other people because he didn't want to do the touring, and we had like John Gallagher fill in for our tour. We had Bill from Decrepit Birth fill in for us. We had Keith DeVito, who was from Pyrexia. He did fill in for us too. So you're correct. And who else did we have? We had that was pretty much it. I mean, you know, so we had these people fill in for us, you know, knowing that we had rapport with these bands on the road, and just, you know, they're friends. So they helped us out. But Ricky ended up, you know, being the person that Frank more or less wanted to choose to be in the band, because he had heard like a little CD of a testing, and Ricky was like, well, I really don't want to play the drums that much anymore. I'm going to try doing vocals. Yeah. And it was like, okay, you know, and everybody that, you know, plays death metal, we all know it, you know. But I mean, to make a long story short, Ricky's always been a diehard of the band since the beginning. He's had his own bands at the beginning. So Frank heard that CD and he was like, oh, this is one of our live shows or something like that. And we were like, no, it was Ricky. He was like, well, you should get him.
Okay.
There you go. You know, and that was a long time ago. Ricky's actually been playing with us for a little over 5 years now. So he's putting in some work. He's helping us write on this new record quite a bit, and it's sounded pretty good. So
okay, because that was going to be my next question, if it was just for the Forces of Hostility tour or if it was going to be a permanent thing. But I mean, you pretty much just answered that.
He's full time, you know.
Yeah.
Frank, you know, he respectfully bowed out. That's just what he wanted to do, was like real world type shit for him.
Yeah.
Real life comes in, and, you know, sometimes you have to do what you got to do.
Of course. So, well, yeah, we all come to a point where we want to retire or move on to a different project.
You know, maybe, you know, it could be anything, you know, it could be kids, life, health, whatever, you know, but those are his decisions, and it's not like,
of course.
It's not like he's dying over there somewhere, but
right.
You know, maybe he just, you know, a little bit of lackluster. He lost out of it. And, you know, that's just what he wants to do. But he's my boy, so I have to respect everything he wants to do.
Of course. Much love for him. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Big up, Frankie. But yo, Ricky Myers, awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Okay, so I know that Suffocation did a lot of great things in history, but I am curious to know, what was it like when y'all did that promo video for the History channel?
Actually, that was kind of like really, it was strange, to be honest with you, because you know, we have a management team and everything like that, booking agents and so on and so forth. You know, over the course of years, we started working with one or the other. So at that time, you know, we were home from tour, and, you know, our management wrote us and said, hey, you guys like to do a video for the History channel? It's like, you got to let me know by this day. And it was like, we had like, you know, we had like 4 days to figure it out. And basically what happened was A&E, who owns the History channel or whatever, was doing something on the Dark Ages, which is, you know, what that thing is. You've probably seen it repeat somewhere. But anyway, they turned around and they were just looking for a really underground, like death hard band to be that band for that video. And of course we were like, well, yeah, I mean, you know, we have the band, we have the gear, what the hell? It's only like 50 minutes away from us in Brooklyn, you know? So, you know, we heard about it on Tuesday, and on Friday we drove out to do the video. And it was a very big production, and it was really kind of cool to be able to see like full real movie gear, like for real, you know?
Yeah.
And the people there were really great. You know, they treated us nice and everything, and we were able to get some cool footage and bring something out to you guys. So it was really all on A&E, just putting out that blanket statement to, like, you know, radio stations, record labels, and so on and so forth, to try to get a really heavy band for that video. And it's like, I gotta say thank you to them, you know?
That is so awesome. And for those of you out there watching this, if y'all have not seen it, the link will be below, and y'all gotta check it out. It is so awesome. I love that. I loved it. When I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, like,
that's so cool, right? That was like a lifetime thing for me, I guess. you know, being in the underground, you know, you never know when something like that's ever going to happen. So it's cool when you get to hear your friend's music in a movie, or it's cool when you get to see somebody wearing a t-shirt of a band that you know, and like you get to see all that stuff. You're like, yeah, man, fuck yeah. You know, we were out on tour drinking vodka. It was great. You know?
Yeah. So, okay, now back, like I said, we seen you back in 2018. And then I guess 2 years later, the pandemic hit. Where were you at that point? Like,
oh man, at that point, we were on tour with the band Belphegor and the band Hate. And literally we had just done Russia. We cut through Russia. We did like a couple of dates over there. We cut into Finland from there and started the tour with Belphegor. And we started going through, got about 16 shows, I think, at most, into that leg of the tour. And we still had over 2 weeks to go. And in fact, I was in Switzerland. I was on like a mountain looking at beautiful shit, you know. It was super awesome. And dude, we had a joint over there, you know. It was cool. It was a Sunday. It was a very quaint little show, but that's because COVID was starting to kill all the shows. Like, so literally every country that we went to, as soon as we got out of the country, like if we went from like Finland to, I don't know, Denmark or something, Finland would close down with COVID. And then from there, the next country would close down. And finally, we just got into Switzerland and we did our show there. And sure enough, there was like, COVID's hit. You guys got 48 hours to get home, blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
So directly from that show, we went straight to the airport. We went in the airport 10 hours and we flew home. And roughly, we've had 3 shows since. So now the tour with Atheist is getting ready to start. Wow, so I hope that I get to catch you out there somewhere.
Yes, definitely. I already got my tickets. I got 3 of them. So
it's going to be really cool. It's really cool because, you know, Kelly from Atheist, he's an awesome friend. I've known him for years. And he's got really good players, man. It's going to be good.
Yeah. So
anyway, we were on the side of a mountain in Switzerland and had to fly home. So, man.
But hopefully all that just like, it's not cleared away, but it's out there. You know what I mean?
They need to squash it because, you know, it's just, you know, you can't stop the world from going around over something you can't even see. And it's like, we all going to get sick. We're all going to die. If it is as legit as it really is supposed to be, and I know people that had it, I know some people that died from it, you know, it's an awful thing. But you can't stop the world. You know what I mean? The human race is a pretty resilient motherfucker. So let us get on with it. You're holding up the show. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not for my safety, it's for your pocket. So let's do it. Let's put it to you like that.
Yeah. So hey, this Forces of Hostility tour kicks off next month on the 26th, right?
Yes.
No, I think it's the 28th.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we might have like a spot show or 2 before that right to it. But it's going to start off there. It's going to end like the 27th of June. It's going to be great. We're going to have Surruption over here, which is an awesome fucking band. I hope you guys check them out. Their metal is fucking awesome. Very great.
I'm going to say it.
We're going to have Contrarian with us, a very cool newer band. They've been around a little bit, but very cool band. And of course, you know, you're going to have Atheists who just fucking rule. So
right.
You know, and our humble asses will be there too, just to, you know, try to blow some wigs out back and stuff. And make you look like me.
Which is great. Awesome. Hey, okay, so I do a little bit of writing for the Texas metal community. And I know that within the community, a lot of these bands, when you ask them who their influences, right away they get into like Suffocation. Right away they say Suffocation is their main influencers, and which is great, you know.
Texas metal community is bar none to anybody, man. They're fucking awesome.
Yes, and
also say hello to fucking all the boys down there and the pit bulls, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Damn, they've been around forever, you know.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that. I was going to talk about how the New York metal scene and the Texas metal scene, they got so much going on for them. And I was going to ask you what you thought about the Texas metal scene, but like you just said, I mean,
you know, the bands, I mean, not just Texas, but in Louisiana, like Edgewater and the Pantera and all that stuff, you know, that really etched, like, I'm not going to say it etched everything beforehand, but it definitely made a big imprint, like on the metal community, because, you know, between New York, California, Florida, and, you know, now you have Texas, you know, you don't fucking mess with Texas. You know, the brutal South is the brutal South. So, you know, from the beginning of our career going down there, being able to play in front of people, and, you know, I think that just people there got the idea of where Suffocation was coming from in the New York scene as well as the Florida death metal scene. And it just blossomed, which I think is a great thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. People were keeping it heavy down there way back in the 90s, man.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think it's great, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it is. It's awesome. Can't wait to come back.
Yeah. So, Terrance, who were some of your influences growing up?
Oh, well, I mean, you know, it started really early. I mean, let's say when I first really started taking guitar like more seriously, like wanting to teach myself and listening to music and trying to emulate it and taking tips from friends on how to play guitar a little. And it started really early on with like the, you know, the Jimi Hendrixes, the Led Zeppelins, the Randy Rhoads, the Eddie Van Halens, you know, and in the blues areas, it was like B.B. King's, you know, Rob Johnson, things like that. So, I mean, I was never really a big Beatles fan at all, but, you know, bands like Queen and stuff, Brian May, you know, all great guitar players. And what was cool was wanting to play guitar, I could actually hear the guitar and everything in the music that was being played. So to me, that was just super interesting because I didn't need anybody else to kind of, you know, have to really show me something or have to learn something by a book. I could sit in my room and enjoy Hotel California and try to pick apart the solo and learn it, you know?
Man, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, so, I mean, it really spans a lot of different musicians.
Yeah.
But, you know, once it went from Randy, you know, Tony Iommi, Randy Rhoads, all that down the line, went into the Yngwie Malmsteen and all the shredder guitar players, and then from beyond that into the thrash, death and black metal and punk rock and all that stuff. It all kind of hit me at once. And I just knew that was it. I'm going to play aggressive music for the fucking rest of my life, probably. If I did something else, it wouldn't be Suffocation. But, I mean, because, you know, you kind of get bored of playing the same thing all the time, especially after 31 years, you know? So, you know, it wouldn't be called Suffocation, that's for damn sure. And I definitely know that it wouldn't be that style. But, you know, I just know that I'm always going to have that in my system, you know, and it's a great outlet for me to blow off steam, be able to learn a different craft and like the recording ends of it and the music industry of it and the new bands that come out and, you know, people who are just cutting more edge from the metal that we were making back then all the way up until now. You know, it's cool stuff to see. So I'm pretty much never going to change that, you know.
Right.
Yeah, can't be.
Okay, I'm sorry. My daughter's trying to walk in here.
It's okay, no problem.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi.
My kiddos. Yeah, so, okay, from Reincarnated to, from, the, what is it, the...
Of the Dark Light?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Of the Dark Light, yes. Which was your favorite album to work on?
Of the Dark Light was really cool. It was different, you know, we did some different recording techniques, things like that in there. My favorite record, probably, I don't know, comfortable playing wise, and I think some of the good compositions would be Pinnacle of Bedlam. You know, I really like that album from 2012, 2013, that era. Of course, I still loved working on the earlier records with Scott Burns and, you know, learning the ropes as a young kid. You know, that'll never go away out of my mind ever, you know. So, but it's really hard to say which one would be my favorite because they all have that aggressive, similar vibe.
Animosity,
You're always sitting there having work to get your riffs out as opposed to being like, oh, well, that was really cool what just happened, you know? It's like, oh, shit, that's not right. You know? So that kind of stuff. But I think Pinnacle of Bedlam, I just think that the flow was there, the comfort was there. I think the recording technology was there. I think that it was, you know, we had Dave Cole Ross at the time. He was an awesome drummer. You know, everybody was rehearsed, everything. It was a really cool album to work Of the Dark Knight, though, that was probably one of the hardest records I had to work on. Only from the speed aspect, you know, not necessarily being technical, but speed. Yeah, you know, it was just like, oh man, this one's got bruiser, man.
I personally got to say, y'all had me at Human Waste. Oh my goodness.
You see, that's the early stuff. That's the early stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I enjoy it too, because there's, you know, different styles we were able to incorporate from the bands that we loved back then, you know what I mean? And, you know, emulating what we wanted to do out of all those things that we were absorbing as little kids and fucking, you know, that's what we wanted to do. So,
yeah,
I mean, you know, Human Waste, it's definitely a very, very raw production.
Yeah.
You know,
and, feel it, yes.
I mean, nowadays, I don't think that I would go about making things quite so raw. But, I mean, we were little kids, you know, we didn't have money and there wasn't, you know, outlets the same way that there are now. The home recording technology and revolution that's there now. You know, most bands can go and buy like a good 8-track that's digital and do their thing at home through their computer. So, you know, now they have the time where they're sitting at home, they can make things sound decent. Back then, we didn't know shit. And I don't think most people knew how to really get the kind of sound we were going for anyway.
Right.
But that's what made it raw. So
thank you. Yes, yes.
What made it raw.
Okay, so I noticed that back in from between 98 and 2002, I think it was, you took a hiatus. Like there was a moment where you stepped aside, but gratefully came back, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what happened was, you know, as I said, you know, we all have our trials and tribulations in life. At that time, you know, after the Despise the Sun EP came out, you know, it was just things were drying up. You know, we weren't having shows. The morale of the band was different. People had to work, you know, kids, the whole thing, you know. So, you know, we all took a hiatus off, and then eventually, you know, Frank, who was moved out of state at the time, he moved back into New York. He was just like, dude, should we get the band back together or do something? So he got in touch with a lot of the other members, and you know, it turned out that that was the lineup for Solston and I. You know, with me and Mike Smith and Guy Moshe, Josh Barron.
Yeah.
But, Josh really just kind of, I don't know, it was like the same old thing over and over again where we had problems. So we ended up getting Derek Boyer.
Yeah.
Derek, we had met in the early days in the early 90s when we were on tour in California. And, you know, he was one of the original members of Decrepit Birth, and it played in a bunch of other bands out there, Deeds of Flesh, you know, just a slew of bands.
Yeah.
And he came over to New York, and it was like that ever since. So then from there, you know, we had done Souls Tonight, but then we did the self-titled and Blood Oath and you know, so on with Mike Smith, and that's when the lineup changed from there. Gotta go to bed then. So.
Yeah. So Terrance, here's the big question, and I'm excited. I get excited about wanting to know what is really going on, like with all this. I'm gonna call it lethal, like the production, the music, all this stuff going into your life, in your music life. What is it in life that encourages your fuel, your drive for life? What?
Oh, the hatred for the fucking system. You know what I'm saying? You know, no, you know what it is. I think, I mean, besides the hatred for the system, you know, I think it's more or less, you know, it's become kind of like a second nature part of life for me, playing music all the time. You know, I've made so many friends out there. You know, we correspond, we see each other all the time, like worldwide. And when it's like that, you know, you kind of get comfortable going back to certain venues and playing there, seeing your friends there. It becomes like, almost becomes like your second home. So, you know, for me, it's just that whole kind of culture and lifestyle and what was built and all the friends that we made and all the things that allowed us to be, you know, and exist and still put out music. You know, it really keeps you driven in order to want to go out there and keep doing it.
Right.
So it's something that stops you from, if something's gonna like age you and make you grow old, for me, it's the exact opposite with being able to go out and tour and see the fans and hang out and have a drink and, you know, be able to see your friends from years and years and years ago, because now at that point, after, you know, 20, 30 years of touring, you know, you make a lot of friends that you always want to see all the time, and you see them so frequently. It's like, oh shit, we're on tour. We got to call up our boys, you know?
Right.
So, you know, you really look forward to those kind of things, you know, besides being on the stage and besides, you know, just, you know, having the fan base and just getting that feeling of being able to play on the stage, you know, it's a lot more to it. So it's become more like a lifestyle, you know?
Right. And that leads me to my next question. I'm fixing to close it up here, but is there any words of encouragement that you could say towards the people coming into the scene that are just trying to make it, you know, whether like I said, whether it's just a jam or whether it's to be, you know, a huge success later on down the road?
Well, I think the most ultimate thing is internally in a band. If you have a band, the members communicate. Oh, okay. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can.
I think, you know, the people in a band should be able to communicate, be able to respect each other, you know, not bang each other's girlfriends, you know, stupid shit like that. You know, kind of focus your attention on a direction that you want to go, you know what I mean? And stick to your guns.
Yeah.
From that point, you know, you got to stick together and you got to grind it out, because if you want anybody to pay attention, you got to be in it to win it. So
that's right.
You know, stick it out. You know, you're not going to win lotto if you don't play lotto.
Right on. Yep. So, all right, Terrance. Well, thank you.
And get a good music lawyer.
Okay.
Get the chance, get a music lawyer. You don't want to get taken advantage of. It's your product, it's your life, and it's your ass on the line. When you travel to go and play in front of those fans, the fans appreciate it, but other people would like to put their hands in your pocket as quick as they can. So make
Good
sure,
Good
if
one.
you get that chance, get somebody to look over your stuff right.
Okay, and what about for the fans?
Well, for the fans, the best thing I can tell them is we love you. Thank you for supporting us throughout thick and thin, throughout everything. Sticking with the metal community, because you know we're all brothers and sisters out there, and that I would like to be able to tell them thank you, you know, mainly from the bottom of my heart, for just paying attention to Suffocation and allowing us to play. We're going to have a new album coming out sometime next year. We're almost done with the writing of it. It's really ballistic. Ricky Myers is on it. It'll be a little different, but it's not different in the way that you think. It's always going to be impressive as fuck, you know? So I'm excited about that for you guys, and I'm excited to see you guys out on the road with Atheist, Surruption, Contrarian. It's going to be a really good time. Hope you can come out and see us.
Yep.
Keep going out and supporting the metal scene, buying the shirts and supporting the bands. They're risking their asses to come out and see you. And after this whole pandemic, man, who doesn't want to go out to a show anymore? You know what I mean? So, see ya.
All right, Terrance. Well, thank you so much. Hey, I also wanted to say thank you. I look forward to this new. I was speaking with James Park II. He was telling me how you did a guest solo on one of their songs.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
you know?
Yes.
Of course. Those dudes are awesome. See what I'm saying? It's brutal down in Texas.
It is. All right. Brutal. Well, thanks, love. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
And I'll keep in touch, and you keep in touch.
Very cool.
All right.
You know where to find me.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.